Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mapping 101 Sessions with Dear Paul. And this is your Dear Paul speaking. Of course, as you have noticed on the screen, there are some updates that I have to share it with you, especially on the Skyway or Metro Manila Skyway Stage 3. And here you go. As far as you can see, the whole Metro Manila Skyway Stage 3 Sections 3, 4, and 5 are almost into completion already, whereas the remaining are as follows. Portions of the Sergeant Rivera Interchange, and as I have to scroll it up, portions of the highway. Anyways, I apologize if I forgot sometimes the highway numbers, but it's Highway 160 already. Parts of Andres Bonifacio Avenue, as you can see, and it continues all the way to E1, which is the Northern Luzon Expressway, right after the PARENTAL interchange. And speaking of the whole Highway 1 AH26 4th Circumferential Road, also known as the EDSA, I'll be going to have some sort of fixes for the EDSA Carousel bus route, wherein I have spotted something odd while on the checking on the previous days. And unfortunately, there are some sort of technical issues that this one needs to be refreshed. I'm going to zoom it out. The remaining could be on the parts of the Metro Manila Skyway going down to the E1 or the Northern Luzon Expressway. And of course, if the whole Metro Manila Skyway Stage 3 gets operational, hopefully for the Department of Public Works and Highways right there, if you're watching or listening, hopefully you could standardize the whole E1 and be integrated with the AH26 system for the Southern Luzon Expressway, Metro Manila Skyway, and that includes the future Quezon Bicol Expressway. Currently, the Southern Luzon Expressway still stands at the E2 route. And let's proceed first with the Fix the Map segment, in which I have spotted some sort of erratic mapping that would cause undue interference to the newly built EDSA busway. All of these are located at the Highway 1 AH26. And let's stop it there at the Northern EDSA. And of course, you have noticed right there, I'll be heading you to the Java OpenStreetMap editor, wherein I could guide you into the map fixes And of course, let's start from the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange. Of course, the city buses have to terminate right there. And as you can see on the right side corner of the screen, is that the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange would stand for several bus routes, which are of the following. From 26 to 30, it would be for the Cavite, North Central Cavite rather. And of course, it's Echo to 18, 23, and 24. But we will focus on the bus route Echo, which stands for EDSA Carousel, wherein we're going to fix that one since I have spotted some sort of erratic routing in which they should be inside the bus lane. And of course, if it's published all over the OpenStreetMap, you have to be very careful, guys, if you're planning to map it out, the entire bus route relation. A single mistake could cause undue consequences. Say, we're going to scroll this one. And as you can see, it's missing right there. We're going to scramble it all over the relations. Let me type it in. EDSA Carousel, or EDSA as the keyword. City bus route Echo. Let me call the relation editor. And there you go. And as you can see, there are some sort of inconsistencies with the color. So let me try to extract some sort of the color in which it could be useful. But let's begin from the hex code, in which it's a 7 or 6 alphanumeric color code. And while I'm scrambling to find those files here, so please stand by. While I'm scrambling for the file that has been stored here on Dearpol base PC, let me tell this to you that I have begun mapping out all of the bus routes upon the completion of the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange all the way from the Cavite, mostly Cavite bus or Cavite Batangas provincial bus routes, whereas few of realize something, then you need to be very serious about the potential banning of the provincial buses. Paanyake Integrated Terminal Exchange, PITEX or PTEX, whatever you call it. And I have extracted already the color information for the red, green, and blue values. The red is at 238, green at 35, and blue at 38. And now, for going to do some sort of RGB to hex conversion, I'll try this one so that you may know what it should be the color for the bus route. If the red is at 238, green at 35, and blue at 38, oh my goodness me, it wasn't been shared on the screen. Let me reshare it to you in a bit. So please stand by. And as you can see on the right side corner of the screen, and we have at least one or two audiences watching here. Thank you so much for watching Dear Paul or Mapping 101 Thursdays with Dear Paul. And let's take this conversion seriously. The hex value for the EDSA Carousel is at number sign Echo Echo 2326. So let's copy this one and let's share it once again with the Java OpenStreetMap editor. And there you go. Let's replace it with the hex value. And of course, the from values has to be changed into Paanyake Integrated Terminal Exchange and not Mall of Asia. And the wheelchair should be yes, because it's very accessible already. And let me delete those unwanted extension line and let's map it out. The EDSA Carousel route coming from the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange. Let's zoom it in and let's select this one. City bus departure should be commenced here or here depending on the preferences. or management decision from PTEX. And so, with the Paranaque Integrated Terminal Exchange as the starting point, the roll has to be stop underscore entry underscore only roll. And I think that I have selected the platform already. So let's enter the role as platform underscore entry underscore only. Of course, it's not yet done. All you need to do is to begin with this one and select the way if possible. And of course, it's straight through already, heading to the exit way of the Paranaque Integrated Terminal Exchange. And as you have noticed, some portions could be constructed in order to give way for the Line 1 South extension or Cavite extension, which is bound to be happen all the way to Bacoor City's Zapote, or let me say Nyog Terminal, which is supposedly be close to the St. Dominic Medical Center and St. Dominic College. And we have started already the mapping from Paranaque Integrated Terminal Exchange all the way to the Highway 1 AH-26 Fourth Circumferential Road, also known as the EDSA. Oh my goodness me. There's something wrong on this selection that prompted us to do some sort of a duplicate relation. But as far as I have to be accountable for, I have pressed the no button already. And now it passes to the old bus terminal provided by the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, which is the Uniwide Coastal Mall. And it's so sad that it's too old already and it's closed. Hopefully, it would be either revived or there's no choice, be demolished. And of course, we don't want any sort of buildings to be demolished. But as far as I'm concerned with the safety and security of those people right there, with the remaining branches of some fast food chains, and as far as you know, one of my auntie is handling such demolition businesses. Oh my goodness me. There's something's missing here. Oh my. I have to download something. And maybe I have overlooked. And if you have missed this point, and if you have read this sign that says all EDSA and Makati buses must take Macapagal Avenue. And let's scramble some sort of mistakes that mappers have mapped the way that they shouldn't be. And I'm not sure if this Pasay or EDSA Taft interchange could be relocated in the traffic island or somewhere else. And of course, you have to be very careful in mapping out those bus routes. And here's the friendly reminder. You have to apply the current updates. Let's zoom it in right there. And let's check it first. If oh my goodness, the EDSA Carousel could be inefficient if it does not map into the leftmost part of the Magallanes overpass, part of the Magallanes interchange. So let's check it in. And let's delete those erratic line. Hopefully all of those mappers are tuning in right now will be guided always. And as far as you know, there are some sort of interchange points already for the EDSA Magallanes interchange. And right here, oh, shout out to Brian Macho, and he's tuning in right here. And oh my goodness me, there are some sort of questions that might not be related to mapping things, but do you have any sort of hollow blocks? Oh my goodness me. Nothing hollow blocks here. And back to the mapping of the EDSA Carousel fix. I might get easily distracted by those shout outs. Please bear with me. And of course, it merges back to the main. But please be advised that there's a bus stop in Ayala interchange. And so, for this measure, they would take the upper grade and not by the tunnel. And that's correct. However, for the Ayala interchange, it has to be labeled as platform. And that's it. But however, there are some sort of inconsistencies here. Whereas for the public transport version 2 guidelines, you might need to have these two values, stop and platform. And so, if you need to know this one, all you need to do is to add those tags public underscore transport equals stop underscore position and bus equals yes and the name should be Ayala. However, if you're in Singapore, in most cases, it would be appended into something like, let's give this an example. There are some sort of bus interchanges in Singapore. Let me research something first with regards to bus interchanges in Singapore, and it would be labeled as blank interchange. Say, for example, Bishan interchange. Let me share it with you on another screen. Maybe there's some sort of technical limitations here, so please bear with me. And so, going to have some sort of screen sharing with regards to the bus interchanges in Singapore in order for you to have an idea if in case you're wondering why there's an or why there's a prefix or suffixes. Let me give it to you a full screen. Bishan interchange on the center of your screen. Interchanges could mean a multiple bus routes serving different destinations. And this image is provided by landtransportguru.net. And as you can see, buses here in Bishan interchange are parked or staged, serve those commuters right there in Singapore, especially if you're abroad. Kindly take note of this one. And going back to the map fixes, here in the Philippines, it's not in this case. No prefixes, no suffixes. I've been right there trying to add some sort inter of interchange suffix, but it's now clear already. Serves as a connection for another route. And let me see. I have to let these old bus routes go. This one. Let's go back to this one. Let's highlight this one as a platform, and therefore it complies with the public transport version 2 guidelines. Don't forget that you have to follow those public transport version 2 guidelines in order to avoid serious mapping errors. And let's check for the rest of the carousel route. And unfortunately, there are some sort of conflicts that needs to be managed as well to avoid collision with buses. Let me open the edit relation window for the rest of the checking. And let's zoom it in right there. And it's okay. There are some sort of conflicts, especially if you're going to do some sort of exiting from not only from the overpass, but if you have any questions, kindly comment it down below this Facebook Live, or if you're watching on the full screen, kindly type it in to the comment section on the right hand corner of your screen. And here are some sort of mistakes that we should have to be clarified. Of course, bus route echo needs an independent busway system. Oh my goodness. There's something wrong here that I have spotted some sort of horrendous mistake. Of course, we shouldn't allow these mistakes to persist. And let's correct this one. Estelia overpass has to be connected And it also served as Mabuhay Lane number 7. And it's corrected already. Let me disconnect these two unwanted nodes, or single unwanted node rather, and then reconnect it somewhere right there. And it should be okay. And here you go. Let's continue with the EDSA Carousel fix. Busway should be tagged as follows. Access lane should be a no, and the rest are the yes. Pass lanes must be designated, and kindly leave it as blank. Or maybe we should map this one as designated, blank, and no. Just in case there would be a bicycle lane in the near future. Maximum speed for buses and trucks, especially those delivery vans, should it be mapped as 50, 60 for the cars and vans, and the official name should be Epifanio de los Santos Avenue. Reference should be always Highway 1 H26. And there you go. Foot traffic strictly forbidden. Sadly, for those who are heading to MMDA headquarters, especially if you're used to Estrella bus stop, it's no longer existent already. It got removed as part of the plan. Hopefully, the Estrella bus stop will be restored. Albeit on or sad to say, you might get diverted to Guadalupe interchange, in which there's a connection with the Mass Rapid Transit Line 3. And I have spotted this mistake already. The EDSA Carousel route should not be on the right hand side, but it's always be on the left hand side. Let me delete this unwanted relation line. And underneath the bridge, there's a bus stop. And of course, there's a kilometer 25 already. And I'm not 100% sure if there would be some sort of platforms and even the barricades that requires us to map the platform separately. Let me have to do some sort of split screen, and in most cases the old path of the bus route echo should not be mapped as well. You should always stick to the leftmost lane, and we're on the kilometer 24, and let's have this checkpoint. Oh my goodness me. Let me remove this one, and then let's remap it. It's a show tunnel already. And as part of the warning against swerving, you cannot weave into the rightmost lane heading to Doña Julia Vargas Avenue. If you're coming from the tunnel, you're not allowed anymore. Swerve. And that's it. No bus stop for oh my goodness. No bus stop anymore for or do I have some sort of there's supposedly a bus stop in Show Interchange or Tigas Interchange and Araneta Cobao Interchange. And by the way, Guadalupe Interchange, if you have to study those transit map, it's not there. MMDA says it's 16. I'm not 100% sure if this is correct or not, but as far as I'm concerned, we have to map all of these bus routes as possible and fix that one, north and southbound. And now I'm into 45 minutes already running in this episode uninterrupted. And this one supposedly be the bus stop for the EDSA Ortigas interchange. This one, could it be the platform? Let me recheck it. And of course, Ortigas interchange platform is complete already for the operation. And so there's a conflict somewhere right here. That's why there's a gap already on the barrier. And the barriers would be resumed once it hits the overpass. And of course, sold over Ortigas overpass. Let's zoom it out. And there's an existing bicycle lane already for the white lanes. And beware, there's no bus stop as planned in the transit map for the Santolan Annapolis. But let's check this one. There are potential flaw. Oh my goodness. There's something's missing here. Let me remap this one. This and this has to be a Santolan overpass. Hopefully there would be a bus stop for Santolan Annapolis. Of course, you have to be careful on mapping those bus routes. See if there would be a legal implications if it's not mapped properly. And speaking of that, it passes through EDSA Cubao or EDSA Cubao Underpass. Still EDSA Cubao Underpass, and it goes back to the highway. Let's double check it first. Let's select as many ways as possible and delete it, and it's okay. There's a possibility that there would be some sort of bus stop in GMA Kamuning. I'm not 100% sure if it's after the overpass or just on the right hand side portion of the highway. But to make it sure that it's mapped properly, let me remove some sort of unwanted way segments. Timog Kamuning overpass and in an instant, it's okay already. This one is the GMA Kamuning station for the line 3. Of course, upon review of the video coming from GMA News, thank you so very much. Kudos to the Unang Hear It team for giving out 10 beep cards in each worth 500 pesos per beep card worth of fare. And more passengers are so grateful already. Of course, let's continue with the mapping. But however, for the Quezon Avenue, North Avenue, I'm not 100% sure if it's at grade or via the overpass. But for temporary measure, it could be the at grade portion. While the line 3 bus augmentation is ongoing. And so, going back to the main highway line, oh my goodness. So, the right hand part of the highway, and this one is Trinoma. Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh my goodness. Buses could enter this Trinoma access road. And this one, as far as you know, this North EDSA Grand Central Station is almost complete. But the Line 3 station or Line 3, Line 1 interchange have yet to move. If this one is the Line 3, I think it has to be extended in order to accommodate Line 1. And of course, Line 7 is still under construction, then the platform has to be constructed in which it could be acceptable to all passengers. Heads up to all. For SM North EDSA, it's no longer allowed anymore. And of course, for the remainder of the Highway 1 H26 Fourth Circumferential Road, EDSA, we're checking out if there would be some sort of errors. So far, so good, and it's okay. Let's zoom out and it ends there at the Monumento Roundabout Interchange. And that completes the northbound fix. Don't forget this hex color code, number sign Echo Echo 2326. I'm going to write it on the screen. Don't forget the correct tags for the highway or bus route, for the carousel route shown on the screen. That's the route equals bus, ref equals echo, type equals route, and color equals number sign echo echo 2326. Once again, that's EE 2326. Disclaimer, guys, it's not meant for electrical engineering or any sort of course. We're running at the 1 hour already. We're at the 1 hour already. So let's have a short break. So stay tuned, guys. Of course, we're back already at the Mapping 101 Thursdays with Dear Paul live, and we're still for the EDSA Carousel route fix, and let's go for the remainder of an hour for the southbound. So, this time it's via Mall of Asia. Of course, if the northbound doesn't go left to North of Asia because they're turning right, but this time it's via Mall of Asia. You have to be careful, guys, because Mall of Asia can serve as an interchange for other bus routes aside from Echo. It's 2 and 18. So let's focus more on the bus route Echo, and let's skip some portions of Highway 1 AH26 Fourth Circumferential Road, which is EDSA, the North EDSA, as far as you know, it's relocated already somewhere else, but I'm not 100% sure where it could be located. So for precautionary measure, let me remove this some sort of unwanted segment and replace it with this one. So it could be somewhere here. For the bus augmentation. And I'm not 100% sure if this one is okay. But rest assured that, say, all buses should be here. And of course, there's Quezon Avenue. And I have to stand by for a single node. And we're on 15 kilometer from the Rizal Park. Still, Quezon Avenue, it's okay. And of course, GMA Kamuning. Starting from that, it should be at the leftmost part and not at the right. Oh my goodness me. Let me remove those unwanted waste segments and replace it with the overpass. And of course, you have to be careful, guys, if you're mapping out those bus routes, especially if, you know, city bus route. And mind you, guys, this is applicable only for the Philippines, especially if you're going to map for the Metro Manila. And as far as I'm concerned, this one is already mapped. The Sabaneta Cubao Interchange. Maybe it would be somewhere else around the Araneta Cubao interchange from the line 3. So let's remove this one, and it has to go from P Tuason underpass. And zoom it out. Oh my goodness. There's something wrong already, and it has to be corrected right away. Oh my goodness. Let me go back to this one. Let me remove these unwanted waste segments and replace it with the overpass. No EDSA Carousel route should be ever mapped on the upgrade wherein there are barricades installed on parts of the overpass and even parts of the EDSA should be mapped as well. And I'm not 100% sure if there would be station, hopefully so, that the MMDA could install most of the platforms. This one's VV Sullivan is invalid already, could be used for other purpose, so let's ignore that. And of course, it's kilometer 21 already. And let's zoom it in right there. Oh my goodness. There are unwanted waste segments that needs to be read at once. And as such, it has to be at the leftmost lane that are fully barricaded, and yet some of the errant motorists, motorcyclists are caught misbehaving still. And if you have noticed that it's sort of a news, And this one, the line that's highlighted is a valid platform already. Show Boulevard. Oh my goodness me. There's another flaw here. Let me remove it first, the unwanted way segments, and then remap at once. Sometimes there are some mistakes that needs to be corrected. Hopefully you could learn something from here. And for Guadalupe Bridge, those three unwanted segments and those leftmost, excuse me please, those three-way segments could be more of a bus stop on the leftmost part, and this the Guadalupe interchange, which is already extended all the way until the bridge. And for accessibility purposes, there should be a wheelchair lift. Of course, don't forget that the bus would exit out of the bus lane and merge with the general multi-purpose traffic on the right hand portion. And once again, no Buendia anymore. Not a valid interchange. Otherwise, you have to take line 3. Of course, it's on the right part of the Highway 1H 364 and EDSA. And it continues all the way until the Mall of Asia. And as far as you know, it would take the Magallanes overpass. They would take the leftmost part of the highway in order to take the overpass thing, and then it merges back, and they should keep right because as far as you know, they shouldn't take the leftmost part, otherwise they could be out of line violation already. And this one's tough interchange. For the Mall of Asia, let me correct something. If this one's the exit platform, oh my goodness me. platform has to be platform underscore exit and platform underscore entry. And this is incorrect. Let me close this forward for me to give it some sort of corrections. Such erratic mapping could cause undesirable consequence. Of course, route ref should be revised as well. It's echo to and 18. 2 stands for, you know, from Pitex to Monumento via the city of Manila. And 18 stands for Pitex Naya Loop. And my guess got served it correctly. Once again, for the correct tagging, route equals bus, ref equals echo, type equals route, color is equals to number sign hashtag or hashtag echo echo 2326. And you need more guidance and information, just visit wiki.openstreetmap.org for tagging guidance and information, as well as the public transport version 2 guidelines. And don't forget, tomorrow, Dear Pod in Focus live podcast at 1900 and Adulting with Joy Spring, Shot of Sanity live at 2000 hours. For Dear Pod in Focus podcast, it's powered by Dear Pod 24 Media, while the AWJP Shot of Sanity is powered by Spring Studios Philippines. And let me show it to you in the full screen. After the tagging modification, there you go. Those invalid bus routes should let go. Remaining could be 18 echo and mostly the modernized public utility vehicles, aka the light bus, or some would say modern jeepney. I'm not 100% sure if, say, could store this node for the stop position or anything. Not this one. So way back 2019 or 8 August 2019. Maybe let me relocate everything here as well as the bus route to, oh my goodness me. Let's see, horrendous mistake already. This and this platform, the underscore exit only, platform underscore entry only, and therefore there would be another hex color conversion alert, and those values could be like, you know, coming from the RGB to hex conversion, in which I need to show it to you once again. Going back to the full screen, let me show it to you the RGB to hex conversion. And there you go. It's all full screen. The red, green, blue values are 19, 91, and 51. 19, 91, and 51 if it's correct. Then we got a number sign 1, 3, 5, Bravo, 3, 3. And it's not a green anymore. Let's use the hex color, and still incomplete. Still unlimited wheelchair access. Unless bus operators could agree with the low floor bus. Of course, you have to be very careful in mapping those bus stops. So let me show it to you on how this process is being done. Let me show it to you. And let's have another screen share once again. OpenStreetMap or Java OpenStreetMap editor. This one is before. And so, before we're going to have the southbound EDSA Carousel fix, let me add this one. Route underscore ref, or should I say, name is equals to Mall of Asia, and then bus equals yes, course public transport stop position, and it's working. Of course, you have to be careful on mapping out those bus routes. Maybe those modernized PUV routes could be converted. Oh, so different operator. Let me remove this unwanted tagging and the reference. Stealing, no smoking, and you need some sort of assistance if you're going to board in modernized PUV. Let me open this one in 3 pieces. So, this one should be extended for the fleet of cruise. This one is the exit and this one is the entry. Another one. This one is the exit and this one is the entry. This one, once again, it's the exit. This one is the entry. Let me rearrange this one before the let me rearrange this and this. This one is the stop. Nope, exit only. And this stop underscore entry. As well to same thing here. It is exit and then entry. And let's go back to the carousel. Let's add more. This and this, same thing. This one is the exit. This one is the entry. Move it down. Then don't forget to save just in case of power interruption. You know this should not be corrupted because there is an autosave already. Let's zoom it out. Let's continue further down to PTEX or Paranaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, Papa India Tango X-Ray. And there you go. We're heading down further. Buses are never allowed to stop for the W Mall. And if you're from the Paranaque ITX, I would suggest you to take modernized PUV routes, and it's recommended for you to have some sort of tap and pay card as we're gearing towards the new normal. And as far as you know, electronic payments on this scheme would be implemented likely very soon. No cash payments are allowed if this would ever be strictly implemented. And now we're running almost the 1 hour and 33 minutes of this episode. Of course, you have to be careful not to place any sort of those PUV stops that are meant for modernized PUVs. Don't forget to add this one at the right hand corner of your screen. Let me show it to you. The left part should be avoided at all times unless there is a bus route or a P2P bus route coming from the workplace within the Mall of Asia complex, but I don't think there's a P2P bus route. Only the shuttle buses could fly. And as far as you know, I need to zoom it in order to select the tiniest waist segment. This, and this. All the way to Paranaque Integrated Terminal Exchange. And now we're back at the Paranaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, which is almost the starting point. And this one is the exit. Let me remove this one. Of course, let me remove all of these depreciated bus routes that are not compatible already. And this has to go. And similarly, those incompatible bus routes has to go. Sorry guys. St. rows. Oh my goodness me. Those UV express should be relocated at the upper part or better at the ground. And this one is most likely P2P bus route. Sangli point to Pitex to Naya. St. Rose. Oh my goodness me. Let me try to convert one more time as we as we're going to conclude this. As far as you know, hex color once again. And for Alabang all the way to Pitex, let me pick it up the color and the hex values or color values rather. Red, green, and blue stands at 241, 68, and 36 respectively. Once again, it's 241, 68, 36. For the hex color to be generated, it's Foxtrot 14424 already. Of course, let me switch it over to the OpenStreetMap. And as such, hex color is completed. Let me supply it to you some sort of missing data. Source colon ref LTFRB circular 2020-019. So let me solve this one. Foxtrot 14424. Oops. There are some sort of inconsistencies here. Let me deactivate this one into, that discontinued bus route should be like having a life cycle prefix of something like Please use colon route. This one could be like the more of let me say city bus route 2. Oh my goodness. City bus route 2. And the city bus route 18. Let me pick this color. Oh my goodness. For Pitex Naya loop, let me show it to you once again, the hex color conversion. One six five two one nine two oh six. That's 165.209.206. Or 219 for the green, rather. And it becomes Alpha 5 Delta Bravo Charlie Echo. Once again, let's store it to the OpenStreetMap. And this one. As far as I'm concerned with regards to the bus route for the Sukat, let me check it once again. Bus route 23, if it's steadier, or if not, I'll going to edit it in the future or tape edition of the fixing or fix them up episodes. As far as you know, it might get taped because I'm running out of time and it's 15 minutes remaining down here. So let me summarize this one. If you're planning to fix those bus route, all you need to do is to select the relation at once. And as you can see, the violet one is hereby selected. Of course, you could be into the right path of fixing those bus route relations. Of course, fair matrix once again. You're heading somewhere else in Mega Manila, kindly remember the fare for the city buses. That's 13 peso for the first 5 kilometers. Plus, if you know this formula, that's 2.2x, where x is equals to kilometer reading minus 5. Or should I say, x is the kilometer reading by 5 kilometers, wherein you should solve like 15 kilometers total distance minus 5 is equals to 10. Multiply it to 2.2 and you would get 22 pesos already on top of the 13 peso. That would equate it to 35 pesos already for regular passengers, and for discounted, if you're a student or having a disability or even senior citizens, it's 28 pesos. Once again, if you need more information and tagging guidelines or guidance, please visit wiki.openstreetmap.org. Of course, while we're heading to save the map, let me verify it first. Of course, a little tutorial here for the RGB to hex color conversion. While the validation is ongoing, I'll share it to you. RGB to hex, as far as you know, if you going to input any sort of color, say for example for bus route 28 as an example, color values are as follows: 9, 80, and 160. Converting it into hex color code, then it's this one. The number sign 0950 alpha 0. Though it's more of a technical thing, this, but you have to be more familiar with the hex color codes in order for you to map those bus routes efficiently. And for validation, I might be having to extend some time in order to accommodate you guys. And if you're tuning in yesterday to WeMap session yesterday or last night, partner mapper Gowin will take a break this July to focus on other initiatives. So sad to see that, you know, I've been enjoying the WeMap session And of course, it's been a while we're in the KYC session. Know your contributor would serve as a hot spot or hot seat for all of the contributors to disclose everything on what could it be the response from the sample question. And I have to admit this to you that let me complete the last KYC that I have been experienced, of course, with regards to GitHub paper cut fix ticket. Is that as far as you know, I've been dealing with some sort of issues that some of the mappers might either unintentionally or intentionally delete those bicycle routes that have been mapped already. And some of the mappers might say that it's hard to fix or it's hard to validate. As far as you know, it's an open source already. Anybody could modify or edit those map data, and hopefully on this new normal there would be a special episode of Mapping 101 Thursdays wherein community mapping will be experienced with the help of the board of directors of the homeowners association together with the OpenStreetMap Philippines and Mappy friends coming from the humanitarian OpenStreetMap team, and even as far as you know, that not all buildings are mapped properly. Of course, you might think that those maps are not important, but for me, it's very important one. Let's think more beyond the box. Wherein, what could other mappers would be doing is that someone's disruptive, of course, as far as you know, I've been dealing with lots of disruptive edits that needs immediate attention along with mappy friends. And at this quarantine session, and you know what, this mapping 101 Thursdays hopefully will be a weekly thing already while I'm waiting for the internship to continue, my academics to continue for the rest of my college experience. I have to admit this to you that I've been experiencing last April that I got depressed, obsessed, perfectionist, and everything else in between that I've been struggling through. And I got so feeling disappointed and offended that what I should say supposedly for tomorrow's Dear Code in Focus podcast is that I got some sort of you know anxiety sort of breakdown, and I feel that I have no one else to talk to. But full details would be for tomorrow. Let's set aside. And of course, if you know this place, that's Quezon City. And don't forget that this one is the Unified Grand Central Station at the center of your screen. Let me zoom it in. Still on the completion of the construction. And let me zoom it out for you to take a look into the completion of the Harbor Link coming from the let me zoom this into the smart interchange. Coming from the smart interchange, going westward, it's the E5, also known as C5, and NLEX Harbor Link Segment 9. And of course, it continued as a Segment 10 all the way to the south. And of course, there's a ramp all the way to the west. Segment 10 continues southwest and then south, then exit to the Highway 120, AH26, R10, and in the case of Manila, Smell Lopez Boulevard. And as far as you know, it takes too long for Java OpenStreetMap editor to validate. So while the validation takes too long, once again, let me refresh this OpenStreetMap on the zoom level. And of course, it would take for the nominative render to do rendering for the rest of the expressway that's already on the completion of the construction. Let's zoom it in for the E2. Hopefully, it would be standardized already to E1 upon completion. And it's so unfortunate that the portion of the Skyway goes to the Pandacan Tomas Claudio interchange got collapsed due to the fire, especially this one. This portion got damaged already along with this one. We're going to highlight it right now. Still struggling to restore those damaged parts. And as far as you know, they are working they are working already 24/7 to complete this thing out. And rest assured that everything will pass through. It's already overtime already. So due to longer validation time, we're going to have some break once more. And dear pod, Mapping 101 Live will be back. Okay. We're back on Dirbal's Mapping 101 Thursdays. Of course, the validation it says missing tags. But of course, you have to be careful on this validation. Maybe it's not a valid route already because it got discontinued post the ECQ and other warnings that there's a sort of suspicious tag combination, unknown property value, maybe let me fix this one in the future edition of Mapping 101 Thursdays. And for accountability purposes, let me write this one as city bus route fixes, and it's live 004 in order for them to be aware that it's already on the live. Let me type it in. City bus routes echo to 1824. I could spot it right away. And this is how you should write the change set comments. Let me show it to you on the text values. Or should I say proper rather. On writing those change set tags, you need to identify those stop platform fixes. And don't forget to supply those sources. And of course, Dear Paul Research is part of Dear Paul Media. And of course, I'll be writing a blog already out of this episode. So expect some sort of improvements that would be made. Hopefully, these tags, the new change set will be remembered. Of course, let's upload this one for the sake of accountability. Let's see, 50 objects. And it's now live already. Thank you very much for tuning to Drupal or Mapping 101 Thursdays with Drupal. Of course, let me share to you what could it be the result after the edit. Let me check first with the history. And of course, it covers the whole national capital region. And of course, the discussion will be open once the change set is closed for editing. All of the relations and the nodes. Guys, you have to be very careful on mapping those bus stops. Don't forget the stop and the platform. And that's the summary for tonight's Mapping 101 Thursdays. Tomorrow, I'm going to share it to you on the story which why I have been landing into this mapping opportunity. And the favors for the mapping 101 or another transportation related episode for tomorrow. Before it concluded, if you're watching from Cebu City, you have to be very careful. There's several COVID-19 hotspots that require some sort of lockdown. Of course, all city bus routes are operational. Modernized PUV routes got operational as well, and it's considered new. Once again, no provincial buses to or from Metro Manila is allowed. And of course, if you're going to ride with the Ubay Express, kindly register first with p2p.ubayexpress.com/register_passenger. And if you need to talk to Dear Paul 34 to direct messaging or DM, if you're either into sliding into DMs or going into Facebook Messenger, just proceed to this one, Dear Paul PH, and if prompted, kindly hit the get started and talk to Dear Paul 34. And that concludes the Mapping 101 Thursdays episode for tonight. Don't forget to tune it in tomorrow at 1900 hours Philippines Standard Time for Dear Paul 34 in Focus podcast or live session podcast, and at 2000 hours tomorrow for Adulting with Joyce Spring Shot of Sanity live, powered by Spring Studios Philippines. Of course, every Saturday there's an Awesome Kids Ministry at 17:30, coming from PCSM Dasmanias. And every Sunday, there's Feast at Home. Holy Mass starts at 8, followed by the Feast at 9. So, don't forget to tune in to Dear Paul 24 social media pages for the latest updates. And see you next week, Thursday, for the Mapping 101 Thursdays.